The following is a presentation of TFNN. Mindful Living with Allie Ford and Tom O'Brien.
Sometimes I get a good feeling, yeah. I get a feeling that I never had before. No, I get a good feeling, yeah.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, Allie Ford and Tom O'Brien.
Namaste and welcome to Mindful Living, everybody, where we aim to help you get healthy, feel good, and live life to the fullest every single day. I'm Allie Ford, yoga teacher and co-founder of GetMindWise.com, and my fabulous co-host, financial expert, and founder of the Tiger Financial News Network, Tom O'Brien, is off tonight. And Tom, we send you lots of love and we miss you. I hope you all are having a fabulous evening this evening, and I thank you so sincerely for tuning in. Tonight, I'm discussing how mindfulness techniques, including yoga and meditation, combat and prevent anxiety and depression, the most common mental illness in the United States, affecting 40 million adults ages 18 and older. That's effectively 18% of the entire U.S. population. So I'll be sharing helpful mindfulness techniques that can help you get back on track and take charge of your health. Now, if you'd like to get in on the conversation, give me a call at 877-927-6648 or tweet me at Allie, ALLY _Ford, FORD _yoga, or you can always connect with me via my website, allieford.com. I hope you're all having a fabulous, restful evening. Boy, what a rainy, wet, crazy, stormy day and night we've had here in Tampa Bay. And hopefully you're able to tuck in for a cozy movie night at home. But if you're out and about, please drive safely. The roads are still wet out there. So do yourself a favor. Take a few deep breaths. Notice if you are clenching your jaw or squeezing the steering wheel or feeling impatient or perhaps even anxious about the state of the roads, and just slow down. You'll be doing yourself a favor, keeping yourself safe, and of course, all those people that you share the roadway with. So I just returned from a wonderful vacation where we visited family up in Cleveland, Ohio. A gorgeous place to be in the summer, I tell you. It was a lovely break from the Florida heat. We had cool weather every night. We needed a light sweater. We had fire. We roasted s'mores, and it was just lovely. Fireflies, oh my gosh. Being from Texas, I miss the fireflies. I don't really see a lot of those here in Florida. But it just reminded me of how important it is to spend time with family and your loved ones. I hope that you're able to spend some time with your loved ones tonight. And if for some reason you can't, then I hope you'll find the time to pick up the phone and call somebody you love and tell them so in person. Let them hear your voice. I just noticed these days, after being face to face with our family for a good 10 days, that oftentimes we text each other or email and we don't take the time to just tune in to a conversation and listen to that person's voice and hear what they're saying, and not only what they're saying, but also the emotions that might be behind the words that they're using. And so when we have those personal conversations, it allows us to really tune in to the people that we love and be there for them. You know, listen to them and hear them, and listen compassionately. If you hear that somebody you love is speaking in a way where you hear fear in their voice or sadness, inquire. You know, let them know you're there for them and that you care. So as a yoga teacher, I meet a lot of people whose lives have been transformed for the better by the healing practices of yoga and meditation and other mindfulness techniques. These are people who have experienced great tragedy in their life, such as the loss of a child, life-threatening disease, perhaps physical abuse, including things as unimaginable as rape, loss of their job or home, and other painful experiences that could understandably cause one to be overcome by emotions, confusion, and thus experience feelings of anxiety and depression. You know, people ask me all the time, boy, are you a therapist? Well, in some ways, no, I'm not the therapist, but the mindfulness practice has us really tap into a deeper part of ourselves, and sometimes things come up that we haven't addressed, and so in a way it is self-therapy. And in sharing these intimate experiences with my students and my fellow mindfulness practitioners, you know, we have these conversations, and it can actually be very healing to divulge this information so we don't feel as though we're experiencing this pain or suffering all alone. In fact, we're never alone. We're all connected. Many of our guests have shared their moving stories of both tragedy and triumph right here on Mindful Living. And I encourage you, listeners, to go back and visit our archived shows at TFNN.com and listen to those stories. They're quite inspiring. In fact, it's because of the profound healing I personally experienced through mindfulness that moved me to quit my corporate job as a senior marketing manager in software and choose to go on this journey to share mindfulness with as many people as I possibly could. When I found mindfulness, I was in a stressful job that was not only defining my happiness day to day, but also the way I conducted my life. I had unhealthy habits and unhealthy relationships, and I felt sad, tired, and sluggish quite often. Frankly, I guess you could say I was stuck in a rut or caught in a downward spiral. This stuckness is a common feeling in anyone who might be experiencing depression and anxiety. And oftentimes, these are common feelings that anyone might experience. The challenge comes when we can't get unstuck. So we'll be looking at some tools and techniques that I personally find effective to help us find some movement in our life and perhaps see that the storm clouds will pass. They will pass, and the blue sky will shine again. The Anxiety and Depression Association of America states that anxiety disorders are actually highly treatable, yet only about 1/3 of those suffering actually receive treatment. Now, I'd like to clarify that anxiety and depression aren't always the same thing. So I don't intend to overgeneralize here. However, it's not uncommon for someone with anxiety disorder to also suffer from depression, or vice versa. Nearly 1/2 of all those individuals diagnosed with depression are also diagnosed with anxiety disorder. Now, the good news, as proven by research conducted since the 1970s, is that mindfulness techniques can actually help manage both occurrences. So again, I encourage you to call or send me your comments or questions if you yourself are experiencing healing through yoga, meditation, slow, deep breathing exercises, or any other mindfulness techniques that have been introduced to you. I'd love to hear your story. I'd love to hear your example, and I know that your story will inspire so many others. Or again, you can tweet me or even send me a Facebook message, and you'll find links to connect with me via both methods on my website at allieford.com. So how does mindfulness then help someone who might be experiencing anxiety and or depression? Well, overall, you could consider mindfulness tools as self-soothing techniques that help calm the heart rate, induce relaxation, reduce physiological arousal, and tame the stress response. Now, we've talked a lot about that on this show. The stress response is actually a physical reaction in the body that gets ignited by anxious thoughts and emotions. In fact, every emotion has a physical response in the body or a physical manifestation in the body. You actually might notice, let's see, if there are feelings of anger present. You might notice, as I said, driving in traffic, a clenching of the hands or a grinding of the jaw or a frowning of the brow. You might even notice you start to perspire. Or if you're nervous or worried about something, perhaps the shoulders lift as though you feel you're carrying a weight around, right? And we say that a lot. Oh, I'm so worried about something. And finally, when you let it go, you feel this sensation physically in the body. And we use that terminology. We say, oh gosh, it feels like a weight has been lifted off of my shoulders. You might even feel tightness in the chest if you're feeling worried or stressed a lot. And I hear that from busy executives at work who have a lot of responsibility on their plate. You know, they're constantly running and reacting, and so the body is in this stress response mechanism. Or perhaps you have felt feelings of sadness or loss, and you might notice someone who's feeling that way round the shoulders forward or hang the head forward, and we say, boy, that person seems really sad. So it's true that when we're feeling emotions, they can certainly manifest in the body. Now, when left unchecked, these patterns, these physical patterns of holding in the body or of over anxiousness or over excitement can cause physical pain. And again, we talk about that. Oh, I need a massage. I've got so much tension in my shoulders. Or it can actually cause illness or even long-term disease. You know, someone who may be grinding the jaw at night might experience TMJ. So it's important that we become aware of these tendencies or holding patterns in the body and find a way to address them. And what's interesting is in a study commissioned by the ADAA, and again, that is the Anxiety and Depression Association of America, and you can find their website at www.adaa.com. There's a lot of really helpful information there. So in a study that they commissioned and actually reported in the Journal of Clinical Psychiatry, more than $22.84 billion in healthcare costs are associated with the repeated use of healthcare services by people with anxiety disorders actually seeking relief for physical illnesses. And I find this very interesting because the fact is that anxiety and depression are actually considered mental illnesses, if you will, or conditions of the mind. And so clearly, while we're looking at conditions of the mind, we are seeing that they can have real physical ramifications for our physical health. So this is an example of the mind-body connection that we talk about all the time in mindfulness practices. And mindfulness practices actually help us connect into and tap into this connection. And by doing so, we're then able to address the health of our entire being, body and mind. So oftentimes we are experiencing pain or illness or suffering in our life, and we don't really get to the root of the problem. You know, we'll oftentimes just treat the symptoms of the problem. And you can see that with perhaps high blood pressure or heart disease. And a lot of times we ourselves as individuals don't ask, well, what's causing the pain in that region or that region of my body? Or, you know, what conditions in my life are causing me to have high blood pressure? What conditions in my life are causing me to feel stressed and worried? Oftentimes, instead of asking ourselves those real, but admittingly very challenging questions, we will just treat the symptoms and go get a prescription for the pain. So, mindfulness practice is a beautiful way to just tap in and find out what is it about our life that we can treat in a holistic way that might offer a little bit more well-being to our life on a daily basis. So with that, we're coming up on a break again. Stay tuned, and I'll be back with more Mindful Living in just a moment.
In quiet markets, investors search for new trading opportunities. We'd like to introduce you to a new product that provides opportunities even in flat markets. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a new and innovative Chicago-based exchange registered with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their trading platform. Nadex never charges a fee to use their platform, which even includes real-time charts and full customization capability. Nadex's unique short-term binary options allow traders and investors to capitalize on strategies even when the underlying markets are quiet. Nadex's innovation has allowed them to come up with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com, or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy, a set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days unconditionally, so there's no risk to you other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
No matter where you listen to TFNN programming, we want you to know you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones and iPads, located at the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a mobile connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live stream audio of all of our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and radio call and talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com. Educating investors. Yesterday's gone. Tomorrow's not here. What are you doing right now? Mindful Living with Allie Ford and Tom O'Brien.
Oh, sometimes I get a good feeling, yeah. I get a feeling that I never had before. No, I get a good feeling, yeah.
Welcome back to Mindful Living, everybody. Today I'm discussing helpful techniques from mindfulness practice that can help us manage or even combat feelings or symptoms of anxiety and depression. So we talked about how mindfulness can help us treat our whole body and mind, our whole system, our entire system, from a holistic perspective, or holistically. So let's start with healing the body. How do we do this? You know, we talked about how anxiety and depression can actually have physical ramifications for our physical health and wellness. And so the first way that we can start to address our physical body is with exercise. Now, when we're feeling down, oftentimes the very last thing that we can even picture is exercise. However, there is ample evidence which shows that physical exercise boosts our mood and relieves symptoms of depression. So while it might be very difficult to get off the couch, or we might use that terminology, I feel really stuck and unable or unmotivated to change, getting up and moving is entirely worth it. Number one, exercise releases feel-good chemicals. We call these chemicals neurotransmitters and endorphins, and actually makes us feel better. These are chemicals that are released from the brain and into the body, and they lift our mood. Exercise also reduces certain chemicals stimulated by the immune system that can actually worsen symptoms of depression. Exercise is also a healthy habit to create to cope with adverse emotions instead of some of the unhealthy habits that we can often create when we're dealing with feeling bad. And I know I can certainly relate when I was in a stressful job and feeling stressed, anxious, worried, and even depressed. Rather than go exercise, sometimes I would pull out a drink and have a drink. So rather than cope with adverse emotions with alcohol or drugs, or perhaps even, sinking down into that couch for hours of television, exercise is a very healthy way to help cope with those emotions. And of course, it can provide the opportunity to join a community. So if you can find a way to exercise that gets you going to a group activity, then sometimes you'll meet new people and build new healing relationships that can help you keep you on your path to health and wellness. So there are two major mindfulness physical techniques that I truly love and would like to share with you this evening. The first technique is, of course, yoga practice, or what we call yoga poses, or in Sanskrit, asana practice. Now, I do this on a daily basis. I'm a yoga teacher, but remember that I chose this practice because of the situation that I was in my personal life, and I saw dramatic positive effects and change in my own life. Of course, asana practice or yoga postures can range the gamut of very soft, gentle, relaxing, restorative yoga where you might do maximum 10 postures in 60 minutes where you just lie still and use props to basically restore your energy. And I liken this type of yoga to almost like getting a massage, all the way up to the more challenging types of yoga you'll hear about today, such as Ashtanga yoga, which is what I practice. It's a very fluid, moving strength practice, or Vinyasa yoga, which is a derivative of Ashtanga, or power yoga, or hot yoga. All of these different types of yoga would be more toward the challenging end. So it's really important to choose the type of practice that is appropriate for you, for your body, and your situation. And of course, before you begin any physical routine, if you are under the care of a doctor, seek advice from them and make sure that you're doing the right thing for your situation. Now, when you start to practice yoga asana, a lot of people think about this physical practice of yoga as just being a way to increase flexibility. And if that's all it was, well, then you win. Because as we age, if we lose range of motion at our joints, we lose circulation, and we tighten up such that we become much more susceptible to injury. If you step off the curb a wrong way, or if you fall while you're snow skiing or maybe snowboarding, then you're much more likely to injure yourself, or even just pick up a child or pick up a heavy box the wrong way. So increasing flexibility is a huge benefit to the physical yoga practice. But on the other end, yoga practice also offers increase of strength, which a lot of people don't even think about when they come to the yoga practice. And that's another huge benefit. You use your body weight, isometric practice, so that you keep your muscles toned and you keep your body strengthened. You keep your torso strong so that your lower back is supported. And you sit tall. You learn to sit upright, just like my dad used to tell me to do all the time as a little girl. Sit up, Allison, sit up. And I never really became aware of my posture until I started practicing yoga. And now I'm so aware of even a slight slouch when I'm sitting not upright. So, but beyond sort of the more surface level benefits of flexibility and strength that yoga asana offers, we do bend over a lot. So a lot of people think when you fold forward, you're just strengthening or lengthening your hamstrings. But in fact, yoga postures were designed to massage or compress the digestive organs, which used to be, hundreds, if not thousands of years ago, the primary place disease was born in the body. And if you look at current day facts, it hasn't changed that much. Disease onset in the body is often characterized by fat, unhealthy fat gain around the waist, such as the case with heart disease or diabetes. And so when we do all this bending and folding, not only are you increasing flexibility and range of motion and circulation to the joints, but you are massaging your digestive organs, the organs that are primarily responsible for removing toxins and disease from the body. And if they're working sluggishly, well, then disease is coming, yeah? And we know many people who are suffering diseases of the digestive tract. They're so rampant today. So you get a lot of cleansing when you start working yoga asana. Of course, we mentioned the stretching that removes tension from the body. And we talked about how when we're feeling anxiety or anxious, the body is under stress. So physically remove the tension from the body and then effectively remove the tension from the mind. So when we start taking this practice for all these reasons, we feel better. We simply feel healthier. And referring back to the body-mind connection, when we feel better, we think more clearly, we think better, and we act better. It starts to direct our behavior in the world. So it just makes sense. Also, when you're learning something new, a new skill, mastering a new technique from a well-educated teacher can be very empowering. I remember when I first started going to yoga and learning some of the postures that I was introduced to at the beginning, and not being able to do them felt odd. You know, I felt like a fish out of water. I had never tried these postures before. But thankfully, I had a really good teacher who said, be patient with yourself. Just try, you know. The effort is the point, and then it's conscious effort. So be sure that you're making a choice to either try this posture if it feels good for the body, or not try it if it doesn't feel safe for your body. So from the get-go, I was taught to approach yoga practice from the perspective of healing. And moving forward with that information, when I did learn new skills that I never before thought would ever be possible, it was completely empowering. So these types of experiences can certainly increase feelings of self-confidence, which also tend to wane or suffer when we're feeling anxiety and depression, or the inability to make decisions in our life. And not to mention that practicing yoga asana, the physical postures of yoga, requires immense concentration. And when we focus intently on one thing, then it helps take our mind off of other thoughts, or off of our worries, if you will, for even just a bit. So we stop thinking about, you know, something that happened in the past that's causing us pain or worry, or thinking about something that has yet to happen in the future that too can cause us pain or worry. And yoga teaches that over time, this train of thought does bring great suffering. So while we focus on the postures that we're taking in yoga, even for just a bit, we take our mind off our worries. And this tends to bring us a brand new perspective, a clear perspective, and thus improve our outlook on life. The other physical technique I personally find effective is a mindfulness practice called the body scan. And you can find more information about mindfulness practices on my website, getmindwise.com. This is a company that I've started taking mindfulness into the corporate world, a world from which I came, and sharing what I've learned through mindfulness practice with corporate executives who are dealing with a lot of stress on a daily basis. And in the body scan, it can be practiced any time of day. You actually lie down on your back and basically check in with each part of your body. So, for example, you would start with the left leg and all the way down to the left big toe. So you want to remove all the distractions from your environment. Turn down the radio, turn off the television, if possible, turn off your cell phone, and take some time to just lie down and enjoy some silent time. And during this time, focus intently on your physical body. So again, you start with the left big toe. And notice how the toe is feeling. You might ask yourself questions like, are my toes cold? Are they feeling cooler than the rest of my body? And, or can I feel the space between my toes? And then I'll take you through the rest of the body scan when we return from this break. So stay with us for more Mindful Living.
take a hands-on approach to managing your investment strategy. You're always looking for the next trading opportunity to magnify your perspective. Direction Shares connects sophisticated traders with a powerful array of ETFs from a wide range of asset classes. The markets may go up and down, and you want tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Who says you can't take it with you? TFNN says you can. With your mobile device and TFNN's live radio streams, TFNN has put it all in the palm of your hands. No special apps to download. No subscription fees for live radio or Tiger TV streams. We say you can.
Now let's go over to the dollar, because the dollar is going to be the generator. It is the generator of basically higher dollar, lower market. And what the dollar has done, and this whole uptrend, folks, has just gone sideways. The way it works, folks, is this.
We say you can. The Tiger Financial News Network. Smart investors and professional traders know you can. TFNN.com. Educating investors. Life is a mystery to be lived, not a problem to be solved. Mindful Living with Allie Ford and Tom O'Brien.
Oh, sometimes I get a good feeling, yeah. I get a feeling that I never had before. No, I get a good feeling, yeah.
Welcome back to Mindful Living, everybody. It's Allie Ford. And again, my fabulous co-host Tom O'Brien is out tonight. Tom, we love and miss you. So we're talking about mindfulness techniques that can help reduce symptoms of anxiety and depression. And just so you know, there is ample evidence available at your fingertips. If you can jump online, you'll find lots of information out there. If you go to my website also, allieford.com, under teacher training. If you're watching online now, I'll just show you how to get there. You'll go to allieford.com, click on teacher training, and then resources. So for anyone listening on the radio tonight, if you just go to Allie Ford Resources, under Resources, you will see links to the physical yoga practice that I just talked about. And I always answer beginners to start with sun salutation A and B. So you'll find links under video tutorials. Sun salutations A and B, how to, and it says with modifications. So for beginners, you will find a video on a beautiful practice that is a lovely place to start. In fact, it's not only a place to start for beginners, but it is a practice that even advanced practitioners can maintain. My guru, Patabi Joyce in India, said that sun salutations are a full practice in and of themselves. And in fact, he would say 12 sun salutation A and 12 sun salutation B would even be enough to cure mental illness. So how fitting is that we're talking about mental conditions tonight. So if you go to my website, allieford.com, sun salutations A and B, this video will take you about 10 minutes. And I start with a really gentle option for sun salutation A, and then I move you through how to build up toward the full sun salutation A, which would be a more advanced level. However, you should never have that expectation of yourself. If the more gentle version of sun salutation A feels better for your body, then stay there. But if and when you're ready and can safely move toward a more advanced practice, move toward the full version of sun salutation A. This is followed by sun salutation B. Sun salutation B is a little bit longer than A and takes a little bit more stamina. So I suggest starting with 3 rounds of A and maybe watch the introduction to B, and then do 3 rounds of A and 1 B. You want to build up to a minimum practice of 5 A's and 5 B's a day. All right, that would take you 10 to 15 minutes of physical yoga practice. And from my personal experience, this daily minimum of yoga asana, or the yoga postures that we've just been talking about, and all the beautiful benefits of that practice, is enough to transform your life. It will get you up and moving. And what I find, not only in my own life, but in the lives of my students who regularly communicate with me, as they start this practice and continue this practice, they often want to keep moving. So they'll start with that 10 or 15 minutes, and then their personal practice grows from there. So go to my website for that tutorial. And so we're now talking about the second technique of mindfulness that I find personally effective, and that's called the body scan. And the body scan would have you lie down on your back and lie completely still in silence and really relax. It's a beautiful relaxation technique. As I said, you'll basically scan your body, each and every single part of your body, starting with the left big toe. Now, I'll admit, when I first learned the body scan, it was a snoozer. I thought, really? You want me to pay attention to my left big toe? And I often didn't make it past the left leg before I fell asleep. So that, I guess on the good side, shows you that the body scan is a very relaxing practice. So if you have trouble sleeping at night, which I hear a lot from my corporate clients, you know, these people who are the big wigs in their company, making lots of decisions and are the idea makers. They have ideas coming to them all night, including at 2 a.m. in the morning. And oftentimes they can't stop their mind from thinking, and they'll jump out of bed and run to their computer. So not only do these executives have difficulty sleeping, but their spouses tell me they have difficulty sleeping because, you know, everybody's up and moving at 2 a.m. So the body scan's a really lovely practice to relax your body. Over time, however, it really does establish a high level of self-awareness. Things become revealed to us about our body that we might be holding or ignoring. So you might feel pain in your ankle that may have been there for years, but you're so busy and your mind's constantly running, you're ignoring your body. Or maybe a low back pain or a pain in your shoulder that needs to be addressed, or perhaps, you know, it's as simple as just changing the way you're sitting at your office or getting a new chair. But oftentimes we really ignore and neglect our physical health and well-being. And as we said, you know, health of the body is affected and connected by the health of the mind, and vice versa. So start with your left big toe, all right? Trust me on that. And then just feel the space between the toes, feel the temperature of the toes, move all the way up the left leg, the front and the back of each and every part of your left leg. The front and back of the foot, the top and the sole, the top of the heel, the sides of the heel, the front and the back of the ankle, the front of the shin, the back of the calf, and so on and so forth. So the technique would be start with the left leg all the way up to the hip, and then do the same thing on the right leg, beginning with the right big toe, all the way up to the right hip. Then move through the front and the back of the pelvic region. Yeah, notice any sensations there. And then all the way up the front and the back of your spine, the stomach, the low back, the thoracic spine, the ribs, the heart, all the way up to the cervical spine, including the neck. Then move through the left arm, and then the right arm and the shoulders, and finally the face and the scalp. All right, so you can take up to an hour to do this practice. It could also be done in as little as 10 minutes. Just try to take a moment and literally feel each body part. Now, while scanning the body, as I said, notice any sensations in the body. And you might have a tendency to judge what you're feeling. You might say, ooh, that's bad, or ooh, I wish I didn't feel that. And we want to encourage you to observe how you're feeling without judging, because oftentimes our thoughts or our judgment can be really self-deprecating. And what we want to practice and learn to practice is self-compassion and acceptance, because only through acceptance can things start to heal. Can we really start to accept things? If we judge things as bad, we tend to push them away and continue the pattern of ignoring them. If we judge them as good, we can practice attachment. And if that feeling that we're feeling goes away, then we might be a little upset about it. So just observe what you're feeling without judgment, as good or bad. Simply take note and then mentally relax any and all tension at that part of the body. The point here during the body scan is to stop the mind from wandering off, which is a habit of the mind. So just note that that is a tendency, and you'll notice that. And just as much as you need to, bring the mind back to the body and the sensations in the body, and to connect with your body. For example, you might ask yourself, am I feeling sensations that I haven't felt for a while? And stay with that sensation and notice if it's related to an experience from the past, which oftentimes those things come up for people, or not, and so on and so forth. And then just practice returning to relaxation and letting go. So the body scan relieves tension, stops the mind from racing, and, as I said, improves sleep, which so many people are suffering from not getting enough sleep. Some people can fall asleep, but they can't stay asleep. And it's been shown that these relaxation techniques of mindfulness actually helped insomniacs fall asleep within 20 minutes. So great benefit is there if you do give it a chance. Remember that physical exercise can be yoga or simply taking a walk in nature, riding your bike, walking your dog, playing with your dog, or doing something that you love, like swimming or dancing or bowling. My family loves soccer, so they go out and just kick the ball around. So even if it's not yoga exercise, get up and get your body moving. If you're feeling feelings of anxiety, or if you're feeling stuck or down, remember that the verbiage we use is related to how we're feeling. So if you're feeling stuck, then you need movement. You need the exact opposite of that word. So get up and get moving. And know that the ideal time is to build up to 30 minutes a day, 3 to 5 days a week. And that's a goal. So again, set yourself up for success. If you're not, exercising 30 minutes a day, 3 to 5 days a week, be patient with yourself. Know that that's a goal to get to over 3 months, 6 months, perhaps a year, and start with maybe 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, 3 to 5 times a week. In fact, studies show that 10 to 15 minute intervals during your day is also highly beneficial. All right, so get moving. Now, the next major tool that mindfulness offers is slow, deep breathing. So this is the second technique that I'd like to share with you outside of physical exercise. Slow, deep breathing can be done in a seated position or lying down, and it is a key component of the yoga practice. So if you do go take yoga practice as a physical exercise, you'll be taught yoga breathing, slow, deep breathing. But you can do controlled breathing anywhere at any time, and it is highly beneficial. Controlled breathing eases respiration, reduces the heart rate, and lowers blood pressure. We've talked a lot about slow, deep breath, the healing, transformative power of slow, deep breath on the show. The health benefits of exercise and slow, deep breathing alone are worth it, because people with anxiety disorders are 3 to 5 times more likely to go to the doctor for illness. So get moving, and then take some time out of your day to take some slow, deep breath. And I'll share with you the technique that I find most helpful and easiest to approach. Slow, deep breath also soothes and tones the nervous system and can have an effect on the level of stress hormone secreted into the body. It's also a very effective focusing technique. And again, as I said, when we're focusing the mind on one thing, then we're not thinking about the future or the past, essentially the thoughts which can cause anxiety, worry, and stress. So ultimately, this is a method also very effective for calming and bringing health to both body and mind. Now, I've met many people who were introduced to deep breathing with difficult, complicated ratios. For example, breathe in for 4 counts, hold for 6, breathe out for 2, 4 counts, and hold for 2. Frankly, it doesn't have to be this complicated. I just spoke with a retired police officer who is suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. And he was introduced to this breathing technique with a teacher, and under that teacher's guidance did very well, and he found it so beneficial and helpful. But once he moved away from his yoga teacher and he tried to maintain this technique, he forgot it and it became overwhelming and he didn't do it anymore. So I say set yourself up for success, and the technique or method that I find so simple and very effective is to simply inhale to a slow count of 4 and exhale to the same slow count of 4, so that your breath is rhythmic and even. It's smooth, silky smooth, like oil pouring from a spout. And it should feel that good. And just feel the sensation. Focus on the sensation of the breath. Now, at first, you may find it a little tricky, a little difficult to start to slow and control the breath. Again, be patient with yourself. So I suggest taking 7 rounds of this slow, deep breath, 4 counts in and 4 counts out. Anytime you feel anxious or stressed or worried, 7 rounds, and that will be enough to help you feel the benefits and also establish a steady practice. All right? You might start with 1 time a day and then 3 times a day. And if you do take this practice and you find it helpful, I'd love to hear from you. Tweet me at Allie_Ford_yoga. You can tweet us at TFNN or connect with me via my website, at Allie@allieford.com. Both my Facebook and Twitter links are there. So slow, deep breathing brings me to the third and final technique, right? The first one was physical exercise. Yoga exercise would be a mindfulness technique or the body scan. The second technique is slow, deep breath, and both of those are quite accessible. And I have tutorials for both of those on my website, Teacher Training Resources. The third technique is mindfulness meditation. This has been in the news every month, virtually every week, for 2013 and 2014. In fact, Google said it would be one of the top searches, mindfulness, the term mindfulness would be one of the top searches of all of 2014. So clearly, you're not alone. If you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling stressed, worried, depressed, you are not alone. And there are real tools out there to help manage these feelings. Mindfulness meditation is also a method of focusing your mind on your breath. Now, it's recommended that you sit upright for meditation and not lie down. So I suggest you find a really comfortable seated position, and you can do this in a chair. You don't have to sit crisscross applesauce on the ground, which can be really painful for knees or hips if you don't sit on the ground very often. Sit in a chair or on the edge of the bed when you wake up in the morning, but sit upright so your spine is straight. And then let the feet be hip-width apart and the knees be hip-width apart. Natural bend at the knees and the elbows. Place your palms face down on your thighs. And then softly close your eyes. Let the crown of your head root toward the sky so the chin is parallel to the floor, so you're not holding tension behind the neck. And then just start breathing naturally and normally. And tune in. Focus to the sensation of your breath, your natural normal breath without control, wherever it's most vivid to you, either inside your nose or somewhere in your abdomen. And this is your anchor, we call it in meditation. This is where you'll keep bringing your mind back to when you catch yourself thinking. And you will. When you notice a thought come into the mind, acknowledge it, see it, right? But try to avoid building a story around it. And if that happens, fine. As soon as you catch yourself thinking, you're back to the present moment and just come back to your breath. And you'll find that this practice over time can be extremely relaxing and helpful for producing a different perspective toward life. So one helpful tool I find is if you have a nagging thought come into your mind in meditation practice or during the day, try and view that thought like a cloud, or view that thought resting on a cloud. And then try and see if you can let that cloud float away. And then see what's left. Perhaps it's a clear blue sky. Perhaps it's a clear blue sky and thus a clear mind. And when we have a clear mind, we think clearly, we see things clearly, we see ourselves as beautiful as we are naturally, and we make better decisions for our life. So overall, try these techniques that I've shared with you today the physical exercise, yoga practice, and relaxation techniques such as the body scan. And I suggest you seek out a class or knowledgeable teacher at a local yoga studio in your area. But if that's not possible for you, then there are many online resources. And again, you can visit my website, allieford.com, for some videos and tutorials there. And then the deep breathing techniques. Deep breathing techniques, 7 slow rounds, 4 seconds in or 4 counts in, 4 counts out. Anyone can do that. It's free of charge. So just try it and keep it simple. And then meditation. So I'll admit meditation is a practice that does take a little more time to establish. It is helpful to have a teacher. And on my website under allieford.com teacher training resources, you will find a 10-minute mindfulness meditation. It's a guided meditation. It's free of charge. And it guides you through a sitting practice step by step. So start with 5 minutes of meditation and then build up to 10 minutes a day, and that's doable. So as I say, be patient with yourself. Take it in small chunks. Set yourself up for success. Small baby steps every day. And then you don't have to worry about the end goal, right? There's a saying that if you focus on the steps, if you focus on the minutes, then the hours will take care of themselves. So that you can focus on being present in your life and not have to worry about those things, those questions, those doubts, those fears that may be surrounding you, your mind and your future that haven't even happened yet. So focus on how you're living your life right now at this moment. And again, if you take any of these practices and you find them beneficial, please don't hesitate to let me know. Finally, if you are experiencing anxiety and or depression, feelings or symptoms of anxiety or depression, then seek out help. Don't be a part of the 75% of individuals who go it alone and never seek assistance to take charge of their health or to connect with others or a professional who can help you, and seek assistance for healing so that you can improve your health and wellness and your outlook and live your life fully every single day. And I'll say it's normal to feel down now and again. It's just when we get stuck there that suffering is coming. And so use these tools or seek assistance for other helpful tools to get yourself out of that hole, to get yourself out of that muck, if you will, or that rut, and out of that downward spiral. Look through the eyes of a beginner at the things in your life that are beautiful and appreciate them. Appreciate yourself for all that you are and all that you have. Thank you so much for joining me for this edition of Mindful Living. And until next time, I wish you peace, health, and beauty from the inside out. Namaste.
This is TFNN.